Creating an environment for success.
Got a visual aid today. This is my favorite time of the year in the spring when the plum thicket is blooming.
Observe, sit and watch to see what needs to be done.
You need to observe. Don't just come in with a brush hog and just chop everything up and think you know what you're doing. Take a moment, observe what's going on, observe what needs to be done, observe what the good and the bad. Just don't come in here and start burning and chopping things up, because at the end of the day there might be a lot of waste there and you might regret it.
The first year, this area didn't bloom at all. I actually thought it was just overgrown. It might have been locust. I didn't really know what it was. But the canopy had grown over it. There was no light coming in here. And it was totally, everything under was just overgrown. So it was just all the suckers were pulling all the light out of the main trees. And the suckers couldn't grow because they had a canopy over them.
Plan, execution, and timing are key factors.
Remove the new and the old at the right time, when everything is dormant and sleeping, not in the middle of chaos and the busy season.
So what we did, we removed a lot of the suckers, and instead of just removing them and throwing them away or whatnot, we placed them in pots in a new environment.
If something isn't thriving here, would it thrive there?
So these older trees had given life to the newer trees, and we made the decision, instead of just throwing the new trees away, that we would replant them and put them in pots and give them new purpose, give them a new environment where they can thrive. Now, as you can see, blooms are going crazy.
Not everyone will make the cut.
Sometimes you got to burn some. Sometimes you got to throw some away, and sometimes you got to use some as mulch to help the other ones hold in moisture and produce. The reality is, a lot of these trees don't make it. A lot don't make the cut. I would say sometimes the chances are 50-50. And it is very important of when and where you do this. You have to do it when the trees are asleep. You can't do it in the middle of a grow season where things are busy. It needs to be slow. Things need to be slowed down.
A few years ago, we owned a food truck and a restaurant, and I was looking for somebody to take over the food truck so I could focus on the restaurant. So we were going through interviews, and I came across this guy. He didn't know a whole lot, but he had worked in the restaurant industry for a long time, and he actually asked questions about the business. So I thought, hey, I'm going to give this guy a shot that he doesn't really deserve. And I took him under my wing, and lo and behold, the first time he got a paycheck, he got so stoned that when he clocked in, he couldn't clock in because he forgot his 4-digit number and couldn't really look at me straight in the eyes, and he was just totally out of it. And I basically fired him right on the spot. And the reason being is I owned a food truck, but it was a 10-ton bus. It was full of restaurant equipment, full of propane. It was right under the poundage to be CDL. And I just thought it was an endangerment and he was a liability. So I fired him on the spot. Kid actually called me back and apologized and whatnot, but that wasn't the type of thing that I could just, I ran into him a few years later, and he was totally resentful, blamed me for him getting high and him getting fired. So in the end, I made the right decision. You know what? I really didn't have any more problems with that ever happening at the job. Well, in the end, he became wood chips to support the other trees.
Once this all is put into place, you still have to have somebody to fertilize and manage the ground, because this will continue to keep getting overgrown. Somebody's got to cut it back and take care of it. You can't just, once you set something up, leave it be and let it all your time just go to waste. You gotta go put good people in position.
Good management, not micromanagement.
And if you make the choice not to be a good manager, like this has became, you will have instances where something that is dead is being held up with something strong and alive, and then they become intertangled. You might have to take them both down.
Be careful of the greedy ones when the harvest is here.
You gotta be mindful when it's time to fruit, that there's gonna be other people that are gonna be wanting to grab that harvest. All the bugs and all the birds. People are gonna wanna come from all over to take advantage of what you have produced. So you gotta be mindful and protect that fruit.
There was a promise made once that as long as the earth would stand, there would always be a seed time and harvest. That promise came from God, so you can cash that check.
Be prepared for harvest. Be prepared for the good times. Have a plan. Put it in place. Be ready, because the fruits are coming. To some 10, to some 50, to some 100-fold.
Creating an environment for things to thrive is just taking some work, observation, good leadership. God left everything up to Adam and Eve, He left them a garden, and it said that everything was good. So, when you leave, it still should be good, or maybe even better. All the tools that we need in life have already been given to us. We just need to manage them properly and take authority over them. And authority doesn't mean force, it just means leading. You'll get more out of someone if you show them respect and love and guide them versus commandeering them and being overbearing. Good leaders are good followers. I hope this helps. God bless.